I get on my tanking and my healing kicks whenever you see me tanking and healing. It's because I see that healer or that tank, and I'm like, you know what? There needs to be better tanks and healers that aren't as hostile. So I'll take it upon myself. And mind you, like, Paladin's my most played character, so I'm almost one for justice. And someone that is standing in the light. Nobody even said anything to him. I was absolutely baffled. That sucks, man. I'd rather have a team of 5 noobs who are trying to deal with the single toxic player than trying to deal with the single toxic player. Yes, exactly. I've kind of like made it a point whenever I'm running and stuff to be friendly. Like where an opportunity presents itself, I try to be friendly, or like compliment somebody if they do something they don't have to in a run. Just to be somewhat of a voice for positivity to help combat all that toxic behavior. It's like I get intoxicated from stupid. But yeah, I mean, that's not, I mean, a lot of my streams and stuff, you'll see that in what I'm doing. If I'm doing any kind of group content, I'm generally like, I try to be positive. I try not to be negative. It's easy. It's not impressive to be negative. It's easy to complain. What's more impressive is like, you know, sucking it up and dealing with some shit. And that's what I love about parties and like grouping and like 5-mans and dungeons and raids and stuff like that. You can have something challenging that everybody focuses on, that you're all working towards as a common goal. And it's meaningless. It's just a video game. Like there's no reason to introduce toxicity to that. But like, you can actually make people feel good about themselves if, you know, shit hits the fan and somebody pops that cooldown, or somebody does that even just moving in the field. Like a DPS could taunt in the right situation if you're like a paladin with the taunt, and pull something off of the healer for an instant and kind of like save the day in just this one little pull. And I'm always keeping my eye out on that. Toxic behavior leads to your character. Yeah, I wanted a drunken master, like some kind of a drunken master name, but I think with intoxicated, the one that I was choosing was taken, so I ended up just having to name him Intoxicated. But yeah, I mean, everybody, it's just like the Demon Hunters, when they came out, everybody wanted like an Illidan name or like a Illudari name. I named my guy Illudari. His name's Elude, but Illudari at the same time. Illudari. Those little meme names. Yeah, I wanted Drunken Master though, or something to that effect. I forget exactly what it was, but it was a good name. I just remember it being taken and being sad. Run for it. Let's put this guy here. He's gonna taunt those guys. And then he'll pick up these guys chasing me too. And I'll just keep chugging. But yeah, that used to be, to your point with the social and like single player, that used to be the only way I'd tolerate raiding. And honestly, whenever I stopped raiding, it was more because I made like a lifestyle change and didn't want to get drunk every raid night, because I would literally go through a 12-pack every weekend that we would raid, and we would raid every weekend, and I saw it as an excuse to get hammered. So like, because it's a social lubricant, like you start drinking, you get a little of the sauce in you, start talking shit and letting loose and having fun, and I really liked that for a while. I really enjoyed it, but my body started getting fucked up from it. I was sitting there too long, and like, I think it even messed up my kidneys and my bladder, because I'd be like holding it for each next boss fight because I'd be drinking. And I'm like, ah! And I ended up getting a hernia real bad that I had sat and lived with for like 10 years and only recently got it repaired. But it took a huge lifestyle change for me to get out of that, I don't know, like every weekend drinking and raiding. It's just like how I dealt with raiding. I would just get hammered to deal with the people and to not take things so seriously, because I would get in those raids where we were like actually trying to push progression and stuff, and I use it as an excuse to drink. And I don't think I was ever actually really an alcoholic or anything, but I was borderline. I was getting there. I've got an addictive personality. I smoked for a large part of my life too, just cigarettes, and that wasn't really great. But I made like a big shift not too long ago, like I'd say probably about the time I started the stream. Like I made a huge shift in like my mindset and my lifestyle and how I looked at the world. And I think a large part of it is my wife and kids really kind of like instigated that change for me. Because, like, I don't know, like, I don't want to get too deep and personal and stuff, but yeah, I mean, my gameplay's changed a lot due to the lifestyle changes I've made, and it's a lot easier to not be affected by toxicity when you're alone. So I guess maybe some of it was just like sheltering myself from toxicity, but a lot of it was like changing toxicity that's just innate within myself. Shit that I grew up with that never really understood or dealt with. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, with the advent of the stream and like me picking this up, I mean, 4 years ago is when I started Legion. Like, I was watching that video last night, so that's what comes to mind. But ever since then, for about 4 years, I've tried to stream consistently, at least every single week, if not every single day. And a lot of what the stream is kind of like founded on, the idea that it's founded on, is like the Stalwart Vanguard. Like, we're the good players. Like, not like the epic pro MLG like 360 no scope player, but like good-hearted, like stalwart, steadfast, ready, like positive community members that enjoy something that they do together. And the Elude Stalwart, a lot of the name has to do with that type of stuff, and like my shift in thinking and all that stuff as well. And honestly, like, each character represents an aspect of my personality in some ways. Like, sometimes I feel like a paladin, a righteous defender of justice, but I don't want to get too overzealous. So I switch it up and I become like a demon hunter or a death knight or a warlock. I mean, that probably takes the analogy too far, but it feels that way a lot of the times. All right, we got to go to the Visions of N'Zoth, and we're going to do the first one, the gimme. And I always try to win it, but I don't know if I will. Oh, no, we got to do the ones in the zone first. I was like, where the hell is it? Let's go to Oldham. Yeah, so the stream represents that, and I want it to be okay, like, you know, for people to play video games. I grew up with the notion, like, being forced on me that video games are inherently bad, and they're, like, it's almost like alcoholism in a way. Like, people compare playing video games to that, and it can be if you let it get out of control. Like, you can shirk responsibility and not get stuff done, and just hide in video games as an escape. And to a certain extent, I think we all do that, and that's the black spirit. Like, Elude Stalwart's the black spirit. You see the icon on my stream, and it's probably in the bottom right corner of this stream here. The black spirit is that. It's within everybody. It's the black spirit of a person's soul. And I heard it was like an Indian or Native American saying something like the two wolves are fighting, and the guy asks, you know, he asks the elder, the leader or whatever in his tribe, he was like, I always feel like there are two wolves fighting inside of me. Like, one's a force for good and one's a force for evil, and they're always at battle. And they're warring with each other in my life throughout the day. And he asks the guy, like, how do I defeat, you know, the evil wolf? And it's not really about defeating the evil wolf, but I think it ends up being more of a balance. Like, you realize you need both of those wolves, and you can't just like take away what makes you dangerous. Like, you can't hide from your shadow like Peter Pan, who loses his shadow. You have to like embrace it and accept it. And in doing that, you become stronger. And that's the black spirit of Elude Stalwart. It's like, he's the video game player. He probably does it an unhealthy amount, but he's using it for the force of good. Like, in a way, like, I'm doing it to like better myself and help those that I interact with while I'm playing, or even those that are around me in like their daily lives. There's a lot of philosophy stuff behind what I'm doing. and what I've been up to. And I think deeply about a lot of these things. And I think it's important. I think it matters, but I find myself rambling about stuff like this, and I don't know how it lands. But I guess all that to say is like, I do think deeply about this stuff. I'd be interested in having long-form conversations with people about things like this. And maybe I need to start a podcast or something. At one point, my cousin and I actually in Legion and some of BFA, we were like in deep playing every single day, like running something together. And we would get into these long conversations, and I got a few episodes on the channel called Cuz Chats. So if you're interested in more of that stuff, it's only a few videos, but it's like 2 or 3 hour long conversations about like the state of the game and like people's ideas and outlooks on society. The one and only PC said, laugh out loud. It doesn't land poorly. Certainly didn't realize the channel stood for so much. Yeah, and I've actually been toying with the idea of making videos specifically for like those things, like the idea that I founded the channel on. But that's why we have the Stalwart Vanguard, and that's why I am Elude Stalwart, and I do have a black spirit, like everybody does. It's like, I think in a way it's good marketing to kind of like, you sell to a person's black spirit in a way whenever you're telling them like, if you buy these shoes, you'll run faster, or you'll look cooler, or you'll be smarter or something if you eat this or take this or whatever. And that's kind of the idea behind the black spirit too, is like, I want people to be comfortable with accepting that aspect of themselves and not feeling like a worthless dirtbag or whatever because you play video games and other people do things like golfing or basketball the weekend, because we all have our hobbies. This is getting kind of chaotic here. But it doesn't have to be a bad thing, you know what I mean? I think there's a lot of good with the Blizzard community specifically, because they do like conventions and you get to go to like meet people in your guild at BlizzCon, and ultimately like that's what I want the Stalwart Vanguard to be, like a public meetup at BlizzCon once every couple years or something. I want to be able to like afford taking my 2 children. He's now 16 years old and 11-year-old that I want to take to conventions and show them like, you know, what I'm doing every day, like what community I'm a part of. And I think that would be really cool to meet up with some of the viewers. I don't have a lot. I know like you probably look at the channel, it has like 200 subscribers, but really there's probably like 10 or 15 of you guys that watch casually and come back every once in a while to see what's up. And that is valuable. I honestly would rather have it be 10 to 15 people who are like genuinely good and not toxic. Like, I'm very careful about how I curate the community, and if I see like certain things leading me in the wrong direction, like if I play at a certain time of day, I get completely different viewers. Whereas if I play like earlier in the morning, it's something about that time of day. It's like evening for the EU guys. So a lot of my EU streamers would be hopping on and just getting off of work. The one and only PZ says, I'm always surprised you don't have more given how consistent you are. The content's good, shrug. I think it's consistency. And also like, if I stream more throughout the day, I know I can get more viewers, but I'm also a dad. Like, I'm a stay-at-home dad and a husband, so I maintain the house while the wife's at work. And I think I would feel bad if I streamed for very long throughout the day, given it's like not really a source of income at all. So I have to, in my way, like I tell my wife I work every day, and that's like making breakfast, that's cleaning the house and taking care of like, you know, obvious household chores and stuff like that. That's like so much of my life is great because I take care of those things. And my wife comes home and doesn't have to worry about any of that stuff. And I also have like a really good deep connection with my children. I'm not like super protective. I don't keep them sheltered from society or anything like that, but like I'm able to actually have conversations with them about things they care about. And they play video games too. And I'll take days where I'm just like, we have the Awesome Buddies channel well, it's the Elude Stalwart channel, but the Awesome Buddies series, where you see me actually playing these games with my children. My 11-year-old likes Gary's Mod and Minecraft, and I get on those with them. Like, that's one of the greatest things about video games is no matter how old you are or how young you are, everybody starts at the same baseline with the same set of rules, and it's just like, what kind of fun can you have given that these things are true? And yeah, we get into it, man. Makes perfect sense, man. I don't even have kids yet, and you're shipping yours off soon. Yeah. I got started early, to be fair. Like I said, like 19, I was already married. So yeah, I've always wanted to grow up, like, and make my day how I wanted it to be. And I couldn't wait to get freedom and independence from my family, because I'm the oldest of 8. So like, what I wanted and the things I liked and wanted to do always came like last, because like, I'm of 8 children, so how do I expect my parents to spend time with just me, or, you know, do things just for me, because there's so many of us, and, you know, shit costs money, and I'm a gamer, so my life costs a lot of money playing PC games and shit like that, streaming. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, I'm thankful. I'm thankful for how things are, even if it doesn't seem like much to somebody else. Like, I'm completely content, and I want to share that with people, because I think more people should be more content with their lives and do things that they love and care about. And even if it is a hobby, and I don't know, there's a lot there. There's a lot I could go on, but look, iBoy49 Yeknam, he knows what I'm talking about. And honestly, iBoy, I don't want to become famous. I would hate to sacrifice my freedom like that. I feel like in the army, like, I went multiple deployments to Iraq. So to and from, like, being shipped in and out of the country, I feel like I got a taste of what that looked like to be in the public eye, and like have people you don't know about, like when I come off the plane, like, you know, cheering and stuff like that. Not for me, but like for my unit, for my company. He said, bah, perfect time for spam.